Justin Bieber's out of money.
Yeah, he's not. Is he okay?
Well, I don't know. But I wanted to run through, and I'm sure you've seen this, the Scooter Braun story. So Scooter did the interview on Diary of a CEO, which is a huge podcast a couple of weeks ago. We featured a clip from it. And we talked about how, Scooter, in not knowing this at the time, I didn't know what kind of legal back and forth they were going through. He was quite, I think, he talked about Taylor Swift. He talked about Justin. He was quite reasonable when it came to Justin. Like, you have to remember, these guys did a lot of great work together, and then Scooter had to sue him. And so he was like talking about how Justin wants to be his own man, Jax, but like he was suing him.
And like they started at a really tender age. They kind of grew up in business together.
14, yeah. So how much money did Justin Bieber owe Scooter Braun? $30 million. Now, Justin sold his catalog for $200 million a few years ago.
So does he have the cash flow?
Apparently not. So they've been in litigation, and now a settlement all of a sudden is on a horizon, and it looks like it's going to be Haley that foots the bill.
Because she obviously has like family money, but she has a ton of money herself from all of her other adventures and
Road.
Road. And also she was doing a lot of acting when she was younger too, right? So she has a lot of cash from that. Yeah, she's done well.
Do you know what Road sold for?
Oh, God.
You want to know?
No, I mean, kind
of.
So
it's like, it's her lip gloss. She made it, she created whatever. So she's going to still be a part of it. She's going to still be the face of it and that sort of thing.
Okay.
They sold it for $800 million. And then the extra $200 million, which will bring it to $1 billion, will be based on performance over the next few years. So if it sells well, they're going to make that extra money.
So she still has a cut in it.
Yes, it's $1 billion transaction though. $billion with a B.
We got to get into lip gloss.
I was just thinking, I'm like, damn, I didn't know cosmetics made that kind of money.
Oh my God. Yes. That's why Rihanna was smart to get into Fenty. I mean, obviously all the Kardashians, there's so much money. And if you do it right, and if you're like actually passionate about making good products, like that will last forever. And it's also like word of mouth for folks who wear makeup. Don't underestimate it. Oh no.
Really? I guess that's why influencers are so powerful in it, right? Like it's like, I use this because if I like the look of an influencer and I know what eyeshadow they're using, I know like TV makeup, but I don't know like glamour makeup that much. I feel like if you trust that influencer, that would be a very powerful endorsement to have. And Haley she's a trendsetter.
She's a trendsetter, and she also she has a very minimal look. I think that's safe to say, which is
a very nude look.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, just two folks who don't wear a lot of makeup talking about makeup here, but she's brilliant. So yeah.
So Justin, this is a crazy story because back in 2022, Justin was going on tour.
Yeah.
And AEG, at Scooter Braun's, basically the whole company, they forwarded him $30 million. They just said, here's $30 million. You're going on tour. Here's an advance. And what you do with that advance is you pay it back by doing the dates. And then oftentimes at the end of the tour, you not only do you have the $30 million, which is great for you because you can give that $30 million, most of it to a money manager. And over the course of the 2-year tour or whatever you're going on, you can get that money manager can make money on that money, right? So that's why it pays to have it up front. You've not only paid that money back,
investment guy,
but you've probably made more money anyway. So you make a little bit at the beginning, or you can make a lot at the beginning, a little bit at the end, and you make a lot of money, and you've made money on the money that you've made. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. I mean, I could never imagine having that much money to make money on money.
Yeah.
But if you're smart, you do that. But how often do we hear about the smart tales of what happens with these large sums of money?
Usually you're not hearing about them unless it's bad.
Exactly. And that's the thing, right?
But the thing is that, remember, he canceled that tour 10 dates in.
He did, and he was unwell going into it. There was, I remember, because we were doing a radio show then, and I remember that there was a lot of worry about if he could handle it. Like he had a lot on his plate, and mentally, you have to be really, really well to go, and physically,
you have to be ready to go.
Yeah, and he wasn't, and it's unfortunate. It's like Shawn Mendes wasn't ready to, he had to cancel his tour as well. Like you see these folks, especially like younger people who are in their prime, like their music is out and that is a grueling schedule. They can't handle it.
Well,
nor should they.
I think Justin's, no matter what, if he goes back on tour, he can make him $1 billion.
In a second, yeah.
I think it's really affected Sean's career because he has released music since, and he is nowhere near as popular as he used to be. He should, if it was career only and not mental health, and you do that tour and you finish that tour and you put out another album. For whatever reason, he couldn't finish it, Sean, and I think it's negatively affected his career. I think he's not going to be the level that Justin is where he could have been. And Justin, like I said, he takes the 30 million, they go on tour, they cancel the tour. It costs money to cancel the tour. And that $30 million advance is still with Justin. Now, what I think probably happened here was they did kind of say at the beginning when they canceled it, it wasn't canceled. It was going to be delayed.
Yeah, they were like, we'll be right
We'll
back.
be right back. And it never did.
And never came back.
And so Scooter and him have had to get into this thing where Scooter's like, yo, man, like we gave you 30 million bucks. And it seems like, and right around this time, Justin sold his back catalog for $200 million, which is a crazy amount of money for anybody like us. But it seems like this guy has got a high burn rate. And at least that's what it's looking like. And Haley selling Rode for $1 billion, and I don't know how much of Rode she owns, has sort of alleviated that, it seems. And again, we don't know this. We can't know all this for sure. And once they settle this, it'll be settled out of court and, NDAs will be signed and we'll never hear about it again. But it kind of brought for me, like I started to think about like, okay, 200 million, 300 million, $400 million. Justin's made $500 million in his career, no question.
Yeah.
Where does that go? And I asked somebody in the record industry about it.
About where his cash is
going. About where
and
cash would go.
Because I immediately just think, okay, like what assets does he have? Like what properties does he have?
Yep.
Like who's on his team? But that can't be that. Like, or maybe it could.
It's interesting. So the number one.
Adam's got an inside tip, an inside source.
Number one, entourage and hangers on. So usually, you've got family members and friends that you sort of bring with you. You make them a part of your business. It's very jarring to become famous.
Yeah.
And so you want to surround yourself with the people that you trust. And a lot of the times that's your friends and family. But a lot of the times your friends and family are not cut out for the jobs that you're putting them in. And so that it becomes a bit of a toxic sort of relationship because they're not meant to be there. And
more. They want more. And you see this a lot. Actually, this is going to sound very sporty of me with the NFL. A lot of these young players coming in, they have these huge contracts and a lot of mouths to feed. Right.
And the NHL or the NFL is not guaranteed either. So if you get cut, you don't get any money.
And these folks like who are usually they're like family and friends, like they're all coming in together, and it's you also aren't taught how to manage money at these in these positions. So.
Yeah. So that was interesting. Your lifestyle is another one this person pointed out.
Justin likes weed.
So this person said an estimate, this is not, 100%, but somebody like Britney Spears, what do you think their security would cost every month? Like to stop people from climbing over their fence and trying to
$100,000 a month.
Well, it's maybe it's that much.
Crazy number. Okay.
But think about it. Like, I mean, this might be per property. So you might not be wrong. $25,000 to $40,000 a month per property. So if you own multiple houses, you got, and then think about all the normal ass experiences or expenses you have. So like if you own a house, you got insurance, you got maintenance, you got lawn and garden, you've got all these things. These guys are not doing their own lawns. They're not out there mowing their. So and then you got lawyers for all your music stuff. You've got promoters, and then the third thing that this person said is bad investments. So a lot of these people end up investing in their friends' businesses and they make bad investments and then they lose that money. And then all of a sudden, you in pop music, if you get 5 years, that's like the best you can hope for. And occasionally you get the person like Taylor Swift who is on year 15 or whatever, right? We'll continue. But not everybody's Taylor Swift. Most people are more of a run like most people. But people would die to have Katy Perry's career. But look at what happens with Katy Perry's career, right? Shorter.
I look like I zoned out there for a second, but it's only because I was looking up something because I couldn't think of the name. But do you know Justin's? Because he doesn't do Drew House. We talked about that anymore. He has a new shoe business, right? Have you seen these? Skylarks. His new sandals and shoes.
I've never heard of them.
Yep.
Are they as weirdly colorful as all the other shit
They're
he's done?
really thick. They're very thick.
They're thick,
There's
they're
the shoes.
chunky.
I didn't know that he was
Oh.
doing shoes too. It looks like a soccer cleat for a Timbit. And then it's just, and he's always plugging them on Instagram.
I mean, Kanye did a good job of that before Kanye went crazy.
Yeah.
The Adidas Ye partnership was like crazy.
Yeezys. Oh yeah.
The Yeezy thing, that was crazy.
Unreal. But I don't see the market for fuzzy flops, like being that high. But I guess you know what? Justin Bieber
Fuzzy
makes
flops? Are they fuzzy flip
Yeah,
flops?
like look at that. That's all I see is like fuzzy flops, Anything that I see,
It looks
anything
cheap.
that Justin Bieber makes, I guess you'll buy. But this feels, and I said that because this feels like a bad investment of his. And I love him.
The Drew House thing did pretty well. Like they got that partnership with the Maple Leafs. Like Justin Bieber's company literally designed the Toronto Maple Leafs third jersey. And that license is expired. He's no longer associated with them either. I wonder if money was lost there. And he posted about that on his Instagram saying, I don't F with these people. And if you support them, you're against my family. And he has made some erratic posts on Instagram
He's
lately.
very busy on Instagram these days. Yeah. But you know who I see liking all the posts? Stephanie. Producer Stephanie.
Why is that, Stephanie? What's going on there?
Wild things. And I forgot that I wanted to call you out on this. What are you doing over there? You're always liking his stuff.
I'm scared for him.
I know.
I am too. I'm with you.
He does not seem well.
doesn't seem
And
well.
I'm really worried that something bad's going to happen.
So you're liking in solidarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just giving him support.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. You know what? She's down. Good one.
So I want to run you through a few other celebrities that
Went broke.
declared bankruptcy.
Okay.
First one, did not file for bankruptcy, but did seek bankruptcy attorney assistant to manage debts and on spending habits and properties.
Who went?
Elton John
Elton
was
John is
spending
not bankrupt.
$400,000 a month on
Help
his credit
give
card.
him money.
$400,000 a month on his credit card.
As he should.
I mean, no, but he shouldn't because that
Okay.
was really bad.
Okay, yeah. but
Now, I mean, you have to remember, this is Elton John after, this is 2002. So, after The Lion King as well. He made a bazillion dollars on The Lion King.
You know what, Elton John? I think he deserves to treat himself. I want him to have.
I think Elton John thinks that too.
I want him to have what daddy wants, daddy should get.
Yeah, well, that was the problem, though, I
and
think.
then daddy needs to scale back. Okay, yeah.
The guy that created Marvel Comics, Stan Lee,
Yeah.
Stan Lee Media stopped production and fired most of its staff, and he filed bankruptcy protection in 2000. His shares fell below $1 a
Stan
share.
Lee, what are you up to?
And then 8 years later, you get Robert Downey Jr. in the first Iron Man, and it kicks the whole Marvel thing off. And now
Stanley's
it's
back in business.
well, Stan's dead now, but yeah, no, it's
is
okay. He was an old man. He's an old man.
All right,
It's all right. But he died in 2018. But
oh god,
made a ton of money afterwards. Isn't that crazy though? Guy that literally created most of the. And I'm not a big comic book person.
Well, I'm not a big, but let me tell you about every Avengers
Well,
movie.
I did see them. That is the job. But I didn't really.
What job?
I'm not a big event. Well, we were on radio. We had to know what was in theaters.
We did not have to go see them, Adam.
Yes, we did.
I didn't.
You just didn't. You didn't do your homework, but I saw them, and they're all the same.
Listen, radio didn't pay me enough to go watch robots fight in space. Okay, I can tell you that right now.
Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, he had
declared
a couple of
he was broke and was unable to pay a $70 million loan to Bank of America. And this is in 2004. But he continued to rack up monthly bills of $2 million on new cars and other items. You got to remember too, Michael Jackson didn't just make money off of Michael Jackson's music, which is the best-selling music of all time. He also owned the Beatles,
catalog, which you taught me not long ago. Yeah.
And so when he died, he owed more than $500 million.
So here's my question. What happens to that debt? Because I know obviously credit card debt, if you're not insured, it goes on, but a lot of debt dies with you.
Yes, some
not
debt.
Not all.
Well, certainly not taxes.
Not taxes.
If you owe taxes at death, your family has to pay it.
Yep, they do.
Yeah, you never don't owe taxes. Yay.
But what happens with that kind of debt?
So the Jackson estate would be managed by somebody. So whether it's a lawyer that he appointed,
Janet.
or it could be Janet.
Okay.
It could be, what have you done for me lately, Janet Jackson?
I figure she's powerful.
I don't think it's Janet.
Okay.
I think it would likely be a lawyer. But
okay. Fair.
The Jackson estate would then either have to pay the money or sell off assets in order to pay the money. And then the estate, whoever's in estate planning for it, would liquidate the properties, put it in the market, whatever. And then, that trust that would be created, because his kids were quite young, would be turned over to their kids, and they're appointed, people to manage that trust when they're at, like, say, age 25. So that's sort of how it works.
That was a really well executed answer, Adam. So thank you so
thank
much.
you. Was that not entertaining enough, though, was it?
It wasn't spicy.
Did you
but,
kind of glaze over?
Like I thought good. May the debt rest too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I
there
don't
you go.
Okay.